What's up, everybody? You kicking it with Reezy, and judging by the title, I'm sure y'all guys already know I'm going to be telling you kind of the struggles of being gay and like what that entails, and maybe how to get through it, and what I've been going through, especially just a little bit, but more so just like the real struggles. Because I was once young. I mean, I'm 21, but like I was once that kid scrolling through YouTube trying to figure out how to deal with it, what are the struggles and like what I have to look forward to and things like that. So I just wanna like give someone some relatability and let them know that they're not alone, and let them know that as much as you're going through it, you can get through it. Try to be a part of the solution and not the problem. But before we get into all of that, I just want to address the things that are going on with the riots and stuff like that, especially being part of the Black community. I just want people to know that we are hurting, we are here, and we are going to stand up for ourselves, and we deserve to be heard. And I just want to take a moment of silence for all those that are hurting, that have felt pain, and that have lost their lives and that are going through grief. I just want to take a moment of silence for them to show my respect for them. All right, so let's all come together and stop with the racism. It's not us. It's not us. But let's get into this video. I have some points that I want to go over that I feel like are the main things that a lot of gays all struggle with, especially when they're young and when they're going through life. So the first one that I have is environment, and I feel like that's a big one because it's kind of the foundation of how things start and how they might end up. I mean, obviously there's a whole bunch of factors and things change, but we want to make sure that the environment that we're in is something that's advantageous to us. So like, if you're growing up in an environment that does not like the fact that you're gay, or is frowned upon, or people are uncomfortable with it, then you're in an environment where you're not accepted, and that can be detrimental to your mind, your heart, and your spirit. It can make you not be the person that you are. And a lot of gays, we have to struggle with understanding that these, like, the environment that we're in, like, that's just the hand that we're dealt. And if you're in a bad environment for it, then you have to, do what you have to do to survive, and make sure that, you're safe in everything that you're doing. Because, like I said, a lot of this, like, this is real. Like, people have lost their lives, people have been kicked out of their homes, people have been disowned by their families. And, it can definitely break someone's spirit and heart, knowing that this is the type of things that they have to look forward to because their environment doesn't appreciate gays, or doesn't like them, or is just frowned upon, and it's not something that they will allow in their household. So I mean, understanding that the environment can be very, very serious and detrimental to oneself, really makes you want to suppress all that and just be somebody that you're not, which is exactly what I did, being in the environment that I was in. I suppressed it all, and I swept it under the rug, and I didn't want anyone to know. So I hid all of that since I was 4 years old. So I mean, I had plenty of time to adjust to my environment and be what my environment brought me up to be, instead of just being myself. But that was a different time, and I mean, today it's probably a little bit more accepted, a lot more accepted, but it's still a problem that a lot of people still face, a lot of gays still face, because it's a struggle that we have to be able to endure and that we have to be able to navigate. Because if we don't, and we just wing it, or we just go with the flow, then we could possibly lose everything, and we don't want to do that, especially being young, or being dependent on other people. So I mean, your environment definitely plays a role in your struggle. Next, we have friends. And your friends, to me, are like probably one of the most important, because they're like your support system. You have friends that have your back. They're supposed to have your back. They're supposed to, be there for you when you're down. They're supposed to, slap you upside the head when you're being stupid, or, talk to you when you're not doing right, or things like that. They're supposed to be your support system. And if you have friends that, aren't well, I'm not gonna say appreciate, but that aren't, supportive of you being gay, then like now it kind of feels like you're alone, because not only do you have your parents to worry about and your family and loved ones, but now you also have to worry about how your friends are going to take it, and if they're religious, or if their families will appreciate it, if you're ever going to be able to see them again, if you're ever going to be able to, talk to them again. And if you aren't going to be able to do those things, how are you going to make more friends? And then it just makes you want to put all of like your gay self inside of a bottle and just say, okay, I'm not going to be this person, because I want to keep my friends, and I want to keep the people that are around me because I love them and I want them to be around my life, forever. And like it's a struggle, because it's very scary to tell people, because you don't know what their reaction is going to be like, you don't know what their actions are going to be like, and you don't want to have to go through that pain and that hurt of losing people, because it sucks, especially if you've known them for a long time. I didn't tell my two best friends until I got to college, and I've known them, and by this time I've known them for 10 years. My second year of college is when I told them, and they were fine with it, but not everyone is fine with it. I haven't particularly lost anyone because of it, but there are people out there that I know that have lost best friends, have lost family members because they don't like it. I know people that have been kicked out of their house, that have been killed, that have been disowned, and this stuff is real, and it sucks, and it's sad, because you want to be yourself and you want them to accept you for who you are. And I would say, if you have friends that you think aren't going to be okay with it, then I think you should try to find other friends, or at least you should tell them and then see how they react to it, or throw it out there. You don't have to make it about yourself, but you could throw it out there and just see how they would feel about it. If they're your friends, then they would have your back. The next point I have is your family. And that's another one of those big ones where it's like, before all else, you came from something. You came from a mom, you came from a dad, and you might have brothers, you'll have, or sisters, you'll have uncles, aunts, cousins, grandmothers, grandfathers, and you want them to be able to love you just the same, because you're the same person. It's just a matter of who you like. And it could definitely be a time where people tell their families, and their families completely disown them and completely just throw them out to the streets, or say, no, you're not my son anymore, no, you're not a part of my family anymore, because of who they like. And that's also very scary, and something that you fear doing, in terms of telling them, is something that you fear happening. That's why it takes people so long to come out and make sure that they tell people, and that they're going to be okay, and that their family ties are going to be okay, because even today it still happens. And it's a struggle that we have to be able to, we feel that fear. It's like ingrained in us because of what we see, and what we're exposed to, because our environment and our friends tell us, yeah, this isn't right, or this isn't what's supposed to happen. And it could definitely put a damper on your growth as a person, because you want to be able to be honest and open with your family members, and you want to be open and honest with your friends. And when you can't do that, you feel like you're hiding, and you feel like you're enclosed in a box, and that you can't really breathe, or you can't really move anywhere, because you're keeping a secret. And it's challenging, because it weighs on your shoulders, and there's so much weight to just walk with and bear, because your family isn't for it. And that's one thing that a lot of people in the gay community struggle with, is telling their mom or telling their dad. Me personally, it was my dad, but some people, it's their grandmother, it's their grandfather, it's their cousin, it's whoever they deem that they want to tell. And it can definitely put you in places, if they don't like it. It can put you in a place that's just unwell and really bring you down. So I mean, like, understanding that your family is a big part of your life, and understanding that if they don't like it, then what are you going to do? Like, how are you going to be able to survive, or, depend on anyone else? And, just the family aspect of it all is a real struggle, because it's something that we fear every time we wake up, trying to figure out if we can even make it. Next is social life. Now, this one can really bring people to a bad place mentally, because if you go to school and say that you're outed, now everyone looks at you differently, or they turn around and they laugh at you, or they call you names, or they um you know they label you as an outcast, or they demonize you, and it's just, it can make you feel so bad, because you don't want people to make fun of you. You don't want people to hate you because of who you like, or like antagonize you because of these things. And like, being in school is definitely a part of your social life, because you have to go to school. You got to get an education, and when you're afraid of all the hundreds of kids that are in your class or in your school, and afraid of them finding out and making fun of you, or it spreading across the entire school, and now you have to deal with that, and now you have to switch schools, and then you have to worry about that at the next school, and at the next school, and with all the other people, it gets overwhelming. And you just have to be confident if you're going to be out at that certain time, especially in high school, when status and things like that matter. Not really, but it's something that high schoolers go through, and a lot of people are going through a lot of things, and it's a struggle to just walk the halls and be like, oh, I wish that guy I could talk to, but I really can't, because one, you don't know if he's gay, and two, you don't want people to bully you, because bullying is real, especially if you're in a predominantly straight school. But I mean, that's like every school kind of, or I don't even know if that's a thing, but like, if you're in a school where you just don't know, and now you have to walk with that fear. A lot of things that deal with the gays is like fear based, because we don't want to be isolated and seen as a freak or something different, and you don't want to have to go through that pain and having to come home and tell your parents about what happened, and then now your parents know, and then your friends know, and then you lose people, and everything can really go downhill from there. So like, socially, it's a struggle to navigate how you're gonna go through that. Me, I was on the basketball team. Everyone knew me. I mean, obviously no one knew about me, but I was kind of a popular kid. I was really smart, top of my class and stuff like that. But I didn't. In the back of my head, I knew I couldn't say anything about it, because what would happen to me? That was always the big question, and I didn't want to find out. Next, we have your inner battles. This one to me is probably the most important one, because I even deal with this today. I have to wake up every day and I battle with myself over what do I do, and what do I not do, and I have all these emotions that conflict with the logic, and like, my mind and heart are always at battle, because like, when you don't even like yourself, then how can you expect others to? And it can get you really depressed, because you can sit up at late nights thinking about what's going on, or it can make people suicidal. That's why you see people in the gay community, there's a lot of deaths, there's a lot of killings, because some of that can be self-inflicted, and some of that can be because of other people that decide to take it out on you. And like, the inner battles that you have to go through make it tough for you to get bearings on just yourself even, and understand that you are your own person, and you can do whatever you want. But like, you also, like I said, you want to keep yourself safe, and having those inner battles is a great way to not keep yourself safe, because it can put a damper. It can like really hit your emotions where it hurts, and some people turn to bad things because of it. And those inner battles can definitely, decide whether you can grow, whether you can be brought down, or whether you stay at a constant. And for me, staying at a constant is worse than being brought down, because if you're in a constant, then you're in a constant loop of just feeling sorry and hating yourself and hating who you are. So like the inner battles, that really hits different for certain people, and it can hit different in different ways, and it can hit you at different times. Mine didn't hit me till college, and so it might hit you in high school or middle school or whenever. But like, I would just say, keep being resilient. You get up every day, you go to work, or you go to school, and you do what you have to do to make sure that you're sustained and that you're happy. But at some point, you're going to have to fight those battles. And next, we have, matters of the struggle of mind. Like I said previously, depending on the situation and things that you're involved in, your mind can really go from here to all the way up here, all the way down here, and it can really suck. It can really suck because the mind is all powerful. It can really dictate how you feel in very moments. It takes a lot of focus and, skill and resolve to be able to control your emotions, but I don't think controlling your emotions is the right way to do it. I feel like feeling all of that makes you stronger, especially if you can get through it, but not everybody can get through it. And that's like the whole point of this video is, like, it's not always good. And, a lot of people have to go through tough times when, they're sit up late night thinking and they don't get any sleep. And it can really, show that, how weak you can really be. And it's something that you have to make sure that you keep track of, because mental health is definitely something that you need to make sure that you take care of and that you watch, and that if you need help, then you get it, whether that be friends, professional, or parents, or whatever. Matters of the mind can really struggle and, like, making us feel bad, and that's not something that we want. Next, we have matters of the heart. And if you're anything like me, then you're an emotional ass kid, and you feel everything. And when you start to feel sad, then everything else around you falls down, and you have to be able to pick yourself up to pick everything else back up, or you have to distract yourself, or you have to suppress it, or like move it to the back of your head when you should be dealing with it. But I'm a victim of it too. Like, if my emotions are down, then I have no idea what I'm gonna do next, because I'm feeling all this pain, all this hurt, all this sadness, and it can like put you in a depressive mood. It can make you have bad thoughts. It can make you just not want to do anything. And like, it's a struggle when you have your inner battles with your mind and your head, and everything's going on at 1,000 miles per hour at one time, and you just want to feel like you can breathe again, like all that weight on your shoulders is just gone. But it's something that you have to go through, because being gay is tough. It's not just about liking the same sex. It's a concept, and it's tough. It's a tough concept to get through, and it can definitely put you in places that you never thought you would ever go to. Next, we have just yourself in general. You have this personality, and being gay, it can either mesh or affect you negatively based off of your personality. And things like that can really make you lash out, make you be angry when you're a really nice guy, or make you really soft when you're like a tough guy, because you just don't know how to deal with it, and you don't have anyone to talk to, and you don't want to go to therapy because it makes you seem like you're crazy, and you don't want people to know you're crazy, and you don't want anyone to find out what's going on with you, and things like that could just really put a damper on just yourself. Like, you might like end up forgetting who you are, or you don't even know who you are in the first place. So I mean, like, understanding that we all have that resolve. It's just a matter of tapping into it and finding ways to cope to make yourself better. Another point that I have here is fear. Like I said earlier, fear is probably what runs all of this. It's just the fear of what is going to happen to me, to others around me, because it doesn't just affect you sometimes. It can affect everyone around you. It can make people suspicious of everyone around you, and you don't want to put people through that, because you're going through it and you know how it sucks. So I mean, like fear is just one of the biggest things that, you know, is really sucks about being gay, because you always have to fear. You have to fear for your life. You have to fear for your friends, your family. You have to fear for, you know, yourself. You have to fear for everything, every little thing that you do, especially if you're in the closet. And even when you're out, you have to, you know, experience bullying. You have to experience people being like, oh, I don't want to be around that person, or, you know, you experience a whole bunch of stuff, and fear can just like bring you completely down. And like I said, like being gay isn't just about liking the same sex. It's a concept. Like there's so much weight to that word that, you know, we have to hold that. And some of our friends, if, you know, they're okay with it, they still might make jokes, and then you're in your head like, yep, making another joke, even though they mean no harm and they love you all the same. It's just that how they talk, and you have to deal with that. You have to deal with the things that are said. You have to deal with the assumptions that are made. You have to deal with, you know, people putting you in stereotypes. You got to deal with a whole bunch of stuff, and it could definitely wear and tear on your heart, and how you feel about the world, and how you feel about, you know, yourself and other people. And, you know, just all of that just going through your head at, you know, like 100,000,000 hours, just rapidly. You're always thinking about what's going on and what happens if, and if I do this, then what. And it, like that word can really, you know, petrify you and make you stop in your tracks and be like, calm. Like it can make you panic. That's really, you know, a lot of what it is. I had to go through, like, all these points that I'm talking about. I had to go through all of that. Some don't have to go through all of this, but most likely they've experienced it at some point in time. Like I said, each experience of every gay person is different than the next, but we all go through some type of pain, some type of hurt that really just can make us fear the world and how they see us. And then you get to actually being gay with like the hookup culture and guys, and then the apps. I would say for that stuff, watch out, because if you get into the apps too early and you start putting your heart into the apps, then, you know, you realize real quick what guys can be like or what girls can be like. And when it comes to, you know, being different and, you know, liking what you like or your preferences. And then you get to understand that even the gay community can be toxic. Like, it can be toxic. If you're not cute, then people don't like you. If you're not fit, then people don't like you. If you're a different race, people don't even like you. And if, you know, it can really come down to how you take it and how you feel about yourself, and being confident and being able to persevere through all the rejections and all the swipe lefts, or, you know, things like that. And then once you get into the apps, you get into hookup culture, and then that can either, you can jump into that too early, or you can jump into that too late. I think jumping in it too late might be just a little bit better, but jumping in it too early is something that I kind of did. And I jumped into the apps too early without, you know, being able to learn or know that I was supposed to put my heart in it. And eventually, over time, I did learn that, you know, I have to be able to guard myself and make sure that just because that person says no, or 20 other people say no, doesn't mean that I'm stuck or that I'm going to be alone forever. I mean, to this day, I still kind of feel like I don't really know who's going to come at me correct and, you know, make me happy, or, you know, like, make me fall for them and stuff like that. I mean, because I've fallen for people before, but, you know, I haven't really had anyone like me, you know, like that. So it can really, like, make you, like, feel some type of way about yourself and make you sad and have your emotions in check. And it can really give you, you know, self-esteem issues and lack of confidence. So, I mean, like, a lot of the struggles that we have, you know, come from us and our actions and what we think about ourselves. And so, I just wanted to go through, some of those struggles and some of the pain, that we got to go through. So if you're anything like me and you're looking for, that relatability and things, or just you just want to know what might come, because you might not go through any of that, and it might be perfect for you. But, I just want people to know that there's also two sides of every coin. There's a really good side, and there can be a really bad side to it. And I unfortunately have, gone through most of the bad things, and it's put a damper on me, and it's, made me feel some type of way about it. And I just wanted to share that with y'all, so like y'all can, get that eye opener and understand, okay, they really do be going through something. Or, if you're gay, then you can be like, I feel that, like, like I get that. And, just if you are like that, just know that your resolve is everything. And at least to me, having that resolve and having that drive and that, that belief that things do get better. I know, like, people say that to you all the time. People tell you just be patient, and you're not patient, and you want things now. But, like, ultimately they're right. Patience is going to be your best key, and having that resolve and having the strength to fight through it all, and to keep fighting and to keep fighting. And I know it gets tiring and you don't want to fight no more. But that's really what you got to do. That's just, point blank period. And it can really, put you in bad places. So make sure you have those friends. Make sure you're in a good environment. Make sure socially you are all right. Make sure, you decide when it's the right time to tell someone, or to tell your parents, or to tell your friends. Don't get talked into it. Don't let, anyone but you and your feelings and your situation decide when you decide to, let all of that out. Because I know that you got a lot on your heart and a lot on your mind, and just want you to know, like, it's okay, like, to have all of that, to be feeling all of that. And just, if you're gonna, address it and deal with it, make sure you got the right pieces around you to address it and deal with it. And, just keep on fighting, whoever you are, whoever's watching, keep on fighting, and one day everything will come together. But understand that that pain is real, and that we can't really escape it. Once we, do what we got to do, then that's when we finally are able to, exhale and not feel that weight, not feel that guilt, that struggle. So that's what I want to talk about today, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, I guess. And, look forward to the next video. But here is the struggle of what it's like to be gay.